The 14th edition of the Eurovision Song Contest, held in Madrid after Spain's controversial winner in 1968, is perhaps the most infamous Eurovision Song Contest ever.
The contest was already springing with controversy, dating back to the previous year when Maciel won for Spain with the song La La La, by just 1 point over the UK's Cliff Richard. Allegations were made from the off that the Spanish dictator Francisco Franco at the time had bribed several jury members to get Spain's song to the top spot. While these allegations have been constantly denied by jury members in the 1968 contest and the Spanish broadcaster TVE, several other individuals have claimed that it was in fact common knowledge within TVE and the EBU.
The accusations hold more ground, well, when you actually listen to the song.
It's not the best, and it is a slight stretch to believe it could actually win outright, considering the hit song, even 50 years on, Congratulations, was pimped to the post and ended up at second.
While hit songs have failed to win before,
take Volare in 1957, which is constantly actually seen as a Eurovision winner, mistakenly, and instead, a song which wasn't actually a hit won that year.
The strange set of circumstances and coincidences here are remarkable.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of...
Anyway, after Katie Boyle announced that Spain had in fact won the 13th Eurovision Song Contest in London, preparations began to be made by Clifford Brown, the executive supervisor of the Eurovision Song Contest at the time, to ready Madrid for the 14th Eurovision Song Contest, which was due to take place on the 29th of March 1969 at the Teatro Real, an opera house in Madrid. A few high-profile names were involved in the contest from the start, with Salvador Dali being responsible for the branding and stage design of the contest, although this soon sparked controversy as the metal sculpture on stage has been accused of looking remarkably like the emblem of a phalange, which was one of Franco's fascist symbols at the time. Because of the contest being hosted in Franco's control of Spain,
Austria refused to participate as they kind of have a thing against fascist dictators, understandably.
On the 29th of March 1969, the contest went ahead exactly as planned, with all 16 entries performing their chosen song, including the UK's quite famous Lulu and her song Boom Banga Bang. The host, Larita Venezuela, ushered in the interval act, a fairly good piece of propaganda about how great Spain is, and the national juries began to vote.
Unlike nowadays, televoting, or telephone voting, basically a public vote, did not exist as the technology to interconnect all those countries was just not around, the inter-organised kind of thing just wasn't possible.
So up until actually 1997, all the voting was done by a jury of industry professionals from each country.
The voting system in 1969 was also different. Instead of a jury allocating 1 to 8 points and then 10 and 12 points to their 10 favourite songs, which is the system which has been used since 1975, a different system was used. The jury members would instead distribute just 10 points in total amongst their favourite songs. So now there's 58 points in total, and the jury distribute that as one set of 1 point, one set of 2 points, one set of 3 points, all the way up until you get your total 58 points. In those days, that was not the case. In 1969, they just had 10 points in total, and they could give any of those 10 points to whichever country they liked. It could be as many as 10 countries, as 1 point to each country, or it could be as little as just one country, with all 10 points given to just one country. So, for example, a jury member, let's call him Noel Edmonds,
has 10 points to give out. Now, he could give all 10 to Spain if he wanted, especially if he wanted to please Franco. Or he could give 5 to Spain and 5 to France. Or he could give 5 to Spain and 3 to France and 2 to the Netherlands. Or any combination as long as they added up to 10. For as many or as little countries as Noel likes. Obviously, this system is a very flawed system and gave us some interesting results. Which is what's most infamous about the 1969 Eurovision Song Contest. The result.
Hello, Yugoslavia.
Good evening, Madrid. Zaria calling.
Good
Here are
evening.
the results of the Yugoslav jury.
Thank you.
So, 63 minutes into the contest, Loretta began to announce the results of the contest, introducing a scoreboard that the results would be presented on that evening. And of course, in those days, it was a physical scoreboard that had the number manually added and taken away by a man behind it doing his best not to mess up.
Which often they did. A lot of contests throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s had these issues before they turned first to digital scoreboards and then to completely computerised scoreboards.
Also, unlike today, the countries were all in the language of the host nation, so in this case, Spanish. Then Loretta went on to introduce the executive supervisor, Clifford Brown.
Like how it's done currently actually, with Jono Lasand going onto camera and validating the voting. Although soon that will be Martin Oshadel, sorry Jono, taking it away. But that still happens now, and that happened with Clifford Brown in 1969.
Loretta then telephoned each country one by one and a spokesperson read out their jury's results. That still happens, although nowadays it's just the 12 points to save time as the rest are automatically added. As you can imagine, this took some time. The United Kingdom took an early lead, but soon the points began drying up as Loretta took us through the juries, and France soon matched the UK's 15 points. As the UK went on to climb up to 16 points, France and Spain managed to do the same, making it currently a three-way tie, which does actually happen a lot at Eurovision, even now, but often for the lower scoring songs. But by the end of the voting, there's usually been enough points to prevent a tie being in the final result. The Netherlands managed to break the deadlock, jumping up from 12 points to 18 points, but then France and Spain did the same, both reaching 18 points. So there was 3 songs at 18 points.
Now, the last set of points came from Finland, with Clifford Brown looking on nervously as he hoped these points would break the three-way tie between the Netherlands, France and Spain.
But instead, Finland awarded no points to the Netherlands, France and Spain, and giving most of their points to several other lower-ranked countries, which is well within their right, leaving the three-way tie in place. But then, at the last minute, they gave the UK just one singular point, taking them from 17 points to 18 points, creating a monumental 4-way tie.
Do vote.
And that completes the voting on the Finnish jury.
Señoras y señores, el Teatro Real de Madrid.
Señoras y señores.
Queremos recordar caso insólito en la historia del Eurofestival.
Señoras y señores.
Hay 4 naciones triunfadoras.
Audible gasps were heard from the audience as this happened, and Clifford Brown was certainly feeling very ill at this moment. As the Finnish jury completed their votes, the crowd exploded in uproar and disbelief, and then applause, and even somewhat of a standing ovation.
The opposite to what Clifford Brown, let's be frank, was feeling.
Loretta quickly turned to Mr. Brown to ask what on earth to do, as she just didn't know who to announce as the winner, as the Eurovision Song Contest did not have a tie-breaking rule at the time. Brown deliberated with his team for a while before Loretta announced in a rather bemused fashion that all 4 countries were to be announced as joint winners. She invited the previous winner, Maciel, onto stage to present the trophy to the winners, but that caused another problem, as there was only one trophy, so Clifford Brown quickly made the very controversial decision to give the 3 smaller songwriting trophies to the winners, which meant the songwriters did not get a trophy that year. Obviously, Maciel and Loretta firstly awarded the main trophy to Salome from Spain and her quite frankly awful song, Viva Cantando, which because of this mess has gone down as a Eurovision winner, unfortunately. Then to Lulu from the United Kingdom with her historically iconic song Boom Bang Bang, which became the UK's second winner. The next to be awarded the trophy was Lenny Kerr from the Netherlands with her song De Troubadour, which was quite a nice song. It's not really worthy of being a winner in my opinion though, and is only considered the true winner by just one country, the Netherlands, unsurprisingly. However, it is leaps and bounds ahead of Viva Cantando in quality. Finally, Maciel gave a trophy to Frida Bacala from France with her song Un jour un étrange,
which I'm probably biased to as it's actually my favourite Eurovision winner of all time and certainly the true winner of the 14th Eurovision Song Contest in my opinion. Sorry Lulu.
However, unusually the contest still had 20 minutes to go, as it's tradition for the winner to reprise their song at the end of the show, a tradition which is still upheld to this day, but now of course there are 4 winners and 4 songs to reprise. Let's not forget, in 1969 there were 16 songs in the competition, meaning that a whole quarter of the contest was re-performed at the close of the voting, meaning the show ran over by a lot. Again, in defence of my argument that France were the true winners, Un Jour un Enfant from Frida Bacala was the only song to get an applause partway through her reprise performance, meaning that even though it was a Spanish crowd and Spain was one of the winners, the audience were on France's side. Finally, the show closed with this epic medley of 7 previous Eurovision winners, although perhaps given the result it might have been more appropriate to end it with a medley of the 4 new winners from just that year. The following year, the Netherlands won the right to host the 15th Eurovision Song Contest in Amsterdam by literally a toss of a coin.
However, Finland, Norway, Portugal and Sweden, as well as the already withdrawn Austria, refused to participate in the 1970 contest as a protest to a boycott, because they weren't happy with the result of the 1969 contest and wanted a tiebreaker rule, which the EBU didn't offer them at the time,
leaving just 12 entries in the 1970 contest. In the following years, a tiebreaking rule was implemented, and applying that result to the 1969 result to put France in first place, unsurprisingly, the UK in second place, Spain in third place, and the Netherlands in last place, which apart from Spain and the Netherlands being swapped, is my personal ranking of the 4 songs.
So there you have it, one of the oddest contests in Eurovision history, the 14th Eurovision Song Contest in Madrid. So, until the next time, goodbye.